They've just completed a NATO exercise somewhere over Europe. American reconnaissance jets come into land on an airfield in England, and they're home again. To the United States 3rd Air Force, England has always been home. They were formed here in 1948, and the force has had its headquarters in Britain ever since. The 17,000 American servicemen and women, 25,000 dependents, and 300 planes have, of course, been changed many times. But as a group, the 3rd Air Force was born and brought up in England, a fact that seems to affect even the smallest details of life on and around its bases. Operating from 8 RAF airfields, most of them in East Anglia, the 3rd Air Force's jet crews work closely with the Royal Air Force. The Americans visit RAF stations, while British cadets get to know the flyers of this NATO partner on a really personal basis. Only about 1 in 7 of these American Air Force men serving in Britain live on the bases. There just isn't enough accommodation for any more. The base supplies shopping centres, clubs, sports facilities, and nearly everything else the serviceman and his family may need. But most American Air Force families have to live in privately rented houses, often miles from the base. With their families here, these men are stationed in England for 3 years. Many bring over their own furniture and cars. Schooling for a serviceman's children, who may be moved from country to country every 3 years, can be a problem. Here at Lakenheath in Suffolk is one of 2 co-ed high schools run by the 3rd Air Force for its 12 to 18-year-olds. This is an American school with American teachers, so these children should have no problems of readjustment when they return to the United States. All the 3rd Air Force bases have their own junior schools for 6 to 11-year-old children, like this one at Alconbury in Huntingdonshire. Popular days at these schools are the exchange visits, when a class from a local English school swaps places with an American class. These English children are from the nearby town of Godmanchester. Today they're learning about America from American children. The American class that's gone to their school for the day will be learning about England from English children. But then, of course, there are other things to teach each other. The 3rd Air Force is in Britain to do a job of work, but they're also proud of the numbers of Britons who visit their bases. At Lakenheath, about 800 visitors are taken on tours of the base every month during the summer. These English youngsters from Bury St Edmunds have clambered over the planes, been thrilled by an air display, and now it's time for hot dogs. The wing air crews act as hosts. And if anyone wants a change from hot dogs, there's always plenty more to eat. For the men, RAF and American, it's a drink. English football is a game that 3rd Air Force men are determined to master, but they're not finding it easy. Alconbury's base team are lucky. They're getting advice from nearby Peterborough Football Club. But American football is still the 3rd Air Force's favourite winter ball game. This sort of training requires plenty of brawn and muscle. The matron of Alconbury's base hospital is driven to work every morning in real English style by her husband, a retired US Air Force colonel. A lieutenant colonel herself, Genevieve Haynes from New Jersey, has been in the American nursing service for nearly 20 years. Staff Sergeant George Williams, in charge of the hospital's general clinic, is going out on an ambulance case, for the base hospital looks after servicemen and their families. When he's finished his duties at the hospital, Sergeant Williams, who's married to an English girl and is on his third posting to Britain, spends most of his spare time helping neighbour Arthur Sanders on his farm. Outnumbered by Englishmen, the sergeants quickly got into the habit of tea breaks. The 17th century Church of God Manchester near Huntingdon is where Captain Mirabelle Misley of the 3rd Air Force has spent much of her spare time since she arrived in England. She wanted to learn how to ring church bells, and now at practice every Wednesday evening, she's in the team of regular bell ringers. Wedding bells are forever ringing for American Air Force men and their English brides. In this case for 21-year-old RAF Pat Sullivan from Hull and 3rd Air Force man Larry Edgeland. 1 in 4 bachelors gets married to a girl he met here. When Staff Sergeant Don Regan comes home, he often finds his wife Judy, who's also serving with the 3rd Air Force, on her way out, but he doesn't complain, for much of her spare time is spent helping the local Over 60s club. And often the Over 60s help Mrs. Regan to get the best out of English shopping. Captain Plale from Denver, Colorado, found the ideal English home for his family when he came 2 years ago. It's a period 7-bedroom house with more than 2 acres of garden. The sort of place he can really relax in. And yet it's only a few minutes from his office at the US Air Force headquarters at Ruislip. The men of the American 3rd Air Force, based in Britain, must be ready for action at any time of day or night. When Colonel Spain, commander of a reconnaissance wing, calls an alert, the crews never know whether it's a practice run or the real thing. They go, and fast. And if a plane is seconds over the allotted takeoff time, there'll be an inquest. For as much as these jet folk may fit into the English way of life, they're here for one purpose only, and that purpose is the defense of Europe.